In this section, we're going to discuss daily interest calculations. Daily interest calculations are important because they're part of the settlement statement, and they're part of the amount the borrower brings into closing. Daily interest calculations are necessary because of the way mortgage payments are calculated. Mortgage payments always pay interest in arrears. In other words, the monthly payment that you make on a mortgage payment always pays the interest for the previous month. Let's assume we close a loan on January 20th. The first payment on that loan isn't going to be due until March 1st. That March 1st payment is going to pay all of the interest for the month of February. So when you close on January 20th, somehow the lender needs to collect the interest for these remaining days of January, because February's interest will be collected in March's payment, March's interest will be collected in April's payment, but the only way to collect the interest for January is to charge those days at closing. Let's review this example. We need to calculate the daily interest charge that's going to be charged to the borrower at closing on this transaction. The loan amount is $200,000, interest rate is 6%, and it funds on January 29th. The first step is going to be to determine how many days of interest we are going to pay at closing. If it funds on January 29th, then we do count the day of funding, and we count until the end of the month. January has 31 days. So we count the 29th, 30th, and 31st. That's 3 days of interest that we need to collect for. That will become an important part of our calculation. So in order to figure out the daily interest charge, we first need to find out the annual interest charge. We do that by taking the loan amount of $200,000, multiplying that by 6%. On your calculator, that's 0.06. That gives us an annual interest of $12,000. Now, in order to take the annual interest payment down to a daily interest payment, all we need to do is divide that by 365. That's the number of days in the year. So that gives us a daily interest payment of $32.87. Now, to convert that to the total number of, or the total amount of interest collected at closing, all we do is multiply that by the number of days. And our number of days was 3, so we're going to multiply that by 3. That gives us 98.63. And that right there is the amount that the borrower will pay in prepaid, odd days, or daily interest. All three of those terms are used to describe this number at closing, which takes his interest up to February 1st, and then February's interest will be paid with March's payment.